Welcome back to another episode of the Lollygaggers Dynasty Recap. We are back after our little hiatus. I am your host, Zang, and I am joined, as always, by Ace. Ace, it's been a couple weeks, but it's great to see you, man. How are you?
Yeah, we're back, finally. Yeah, you had to go off and get married. Sorry, that took forever.
Had to get married, had to move, you know, little stuff. Who cares? Thank you all again for your grace in this period. We should be back to a pretty regular schedule now. Office is all set up. House is all set up. We're good to go. But it was, I missed it. I missed kind of recapping it. I noticed, I was like, man, I don't really know what's going on in Dynasty. Like, digging into everything with these spreadsheets and doing the podcast definitely keeps me locked in. So I'm excited to be back.
Yeah, definitely excited to be back doing the show. I think even a couple people in the Discord, too, had mentioned, like, man, it's weird not having the pod episode every week. So glad you guys are appreciating it and watching. That makes us want to just do it even more.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, we are coming into this episode right before the All-Star break. Pardon me. This upcoming week is a little bit of an odd one where, there are just, I think, 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then those are actually merged with the next week. So next week's episode will be a little bit odd. We'll obviously, we'll cover any trades that go over and maybe some other stuff. We'll talk about recap some head-to-head matchups and even preview a little bit of what happened in the draft and maybe pick out some sleeper picks that might be picked in some earlier rounds or some, really high ones that might go first, second, and third overall. So next week will be a little bit odd, and then we'll have that big 10-day recap coming up week after that. But I think we should dive right into our matchup. So We'll start off with the battle for last place. It was Serial Chillers versus Zang. We were both coming in here 4-11, so somebody had to come out in sole possession of last place, and somebody had to come out not tied for last place anymore. Started off a pretty big day for Serial Chillers. 86 points to just 24 for me. J-Ram had 13, and Noah Cameron with 33. The young White Sox starting pitcher really putting up some big numbers there. Tougher day on that second day, though, for Serial Chillers, scoring only 16, and that was in part to Porter Hodge, who landed on the IL right after in his minus 19 points. Trevor Story scoring 13 for me over on the other side. 76-69 on Wednesday, thanks to Slade Sessione, and over on my side, a pair of Red Sox, Carlos Narvaez with 12, and Lucas Giolito in his last start for my team, racking up 33 points. Serial held the lead again through Thursday, but on Friday, thanks to the newly acquired Francisco Lindor's 13 points, I swiped the lead back from him. Huge day on Saturday for me, 119 to just 49 for Serial. Garrett Crochet's 54 points certainly were helpful there, and although Noah Cameron had another really phenomenal start on Sunday, it wasn't quite enough for Serial to take that lead back. The end score of the matchup was 427 to 348. Me over Serial, winning by 79 points. I am now 5-11. Yeah, baby, I'm out of last place, and Serial Chillers down at 4-12. Is in sole possession of 12th place now.
Yeah, definitely. Like I mentioned, toilet bowl. Love to see it. Rough minus 18 from Porter Hodge there from Serial. Hate to see it, but yeah, I think this is just a battle of who's going to have the number one overall pick.
Yeah, it's. I know that'll be good research for me too, because there's a good chance I'll get it. So I'll be like, "Ooh, who can I get with it?" There, Adolis Garcia was Serial Chiller's best batter for the week, scoring 38 points, and Noah Cameron, the starting pitcher I mentioned earlier. With 68 points, he was one of our potent pitchers. 68 points. White Sox are putting together actually a pretty solid pitching staff out there. It's impressive. Over on my side, a pair of Red Sox I'm pretty excited about. The first one, Roman Anthony with 31 points was my best batter. That is really nice to see for me. I know I definitely invested in youth during the draft. I took a lot of highly ranked prospects and a lot of really young guys, so seeing one of those guys be my best batter for the week bodes well for the future. And then Garrett Crochet, only one start, but 54 points in that complete game shutout for him. He has just been an absolute horse for me all year long, and good to see I actually got this start in. That felt really good. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, you were mentioning the White Sox having a a great, putting together a nice little pitching staff. If only they had an ace like Garrett Crochet.
I know, man. Boy,
that's tie it all together, man. They'd be a good team, I think.
Could you imagine if they had like Dylan Cease too? Like, God, maybe even Carlos Rodon. I don't know. I'm just like spitballing names here.
Spitballing here. Didn't they have I don't know. We'll get back to it later. I think they had some other guy later on, or
some other lefty. Yeah.
We'll talk about him another time. Either way. Great matchup here, Zang, and I think we could get into this next one here.
Yeah, and I just want to say, after 9 weeks, the losing streak is finally over.
Oh man,
4-2 to 5-11.
Here's
we
another
did it.
9-week losing streak.
I've never been so happy coming into a pod. Well, in 9 weeks. Speaking of our next matchup, as Ace said, we do have my co-host Ace going up against Al Martinet. Al Martinet came into the week 5-11. Ace coming in just one game over 500 at 8-7, just outside of a playoff spot.
5-10
at the time. It was 5-10. Thank you. Did I say 5-7? Thank you.
No, you said 5-10. You said 5-11.
Oh, 5-11.
Yeah,
we'll get there in a few minutes.
It's a little early.
5-10. It's a little early. We were recording in the morning, so I'm still getting my coffee. By the end of the episode, I should be fine. We opened up on Monday. This was one of our closest head-to-head days. Not our closest. We'll get to that in a little bit. But 22 points for Al Martinet and 22.8 for Ace. A surprising minus 13 from Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I was shocked to see that. And then 13 for Ace's hero, Agustin Ramirez, over on the other side. On the next day, though, Ace took a firm lead, not just 0.8 points when he scored 143. Goldschmidt had 11. Evaldi had 31. Mizorowski, who's that guy, had 35. And Nick Pivetta scored 25. Huge day for Ace. He held the lead through Wednesday as well. Through Thursday, too, despite a strong 12-point performance from Soderstrom on Al Martinet's side. He did work his way back there and took the lead from Ace on Friday. Willie Adames had 14. Kurtz again with 12, but on Saturday, Ace pulled it back and did not relent. J.P. Crawford had 10 for him on that 51-point day on Saturday, and then both teams closed the week out strong. Al Martinet scored 115, Kurtz with 12, Bayo 28, Yamamoto bounced back nicely with 34, but Ace scoring 161, Evaldi's 37, Freddie Peralta's 35, Pavetta's 34. That was more than enough to secure the victory. Ace won this matchup 531 to 481, a 50-point differential separating the two of them. Ace is now sitting at 9-7, and now Al Martinet is at 5-11.
Yeah, so this was this matchup was insanely back and forth all week. Like you mentioned, I know the end result was a 50-point, I don't want to say deficit, a 50-point win, but that 50-point win came quite literally in the last day.
Yeah,
like we were like within like 10 points of each other pretty much the whole week. So this was a huge back and forth, massive victory for me being in the playoff race still. Considering where this league is at right now, it's insanely close, dude. We're gonna get to some insane risers, mainly one, but this league is crazy. I love everything that's happening, and Al Martinet, I'm sorry, this was a valiant fight. I know you were kind of fighting for your playoff life too. But man, this what a matchup.
Yeah, real close, man. Impressive showing from your pitching staff. I mean, obviously we talked about, Mizorowski, Evaldi, and Pivetta both show up here twice. Brand new acquisition, Freddie Peralta shows up here with 35. A really, really big performance. We've talked a lot about how you're looking for the most successful teams. They're often the ones with really successful pitching staff. This week is clearly an example of that for you. And, that new acquisition's looking pretty good already.
Yeah, shipped off a pretty big piece to get him, though. We'll get to that in the transactions later. But early returns proving beneficial.
Early returns are good for sure. This is one of those uniquely awful weeks for Al Martinet. Really impressive performance from him. Nick Kurtz with 52 points was one of our best batters for the week. And Brian Bayo, Red Sox fans appear excited about him, was one of our potent pitchers for the week. So one of the best batters, one of the best pitchers, both on Al Martinet's team, and still he didn't quite win that game. You can see why on the other side, though, with Nate Eovaldi scoring 68 points as one of our potent pitchers. Ellie De La Cruz scoring 42 as Ace's best batter. And then Freddie Peralta also one of our potent pitchers, although it's a little bit interesting because it's split a bit between Ace and Mike. He did score 35 for Ace. And then I believe 32 for Mike. So about half of it there was for Ace and about half was for Mike. But I wanted to give Freddie his shine. He scored all the points. It was just, split across two teams there. So obviously we can see why, even though Al Martinet had some of those best players, it still wasn't quite a win for him because you had two of the best as well.
I mean, shout out Pivetta. Guy, I mean, he wasn't one of the potent pitchers this week because that just goes to show you how great of the pitchers were this week. But man put together a 59-point performance, for the week for me. So that cannot go understated. And Mizorowski, man, all-star Jacob Mizorowski looks like an absolute legend in the making. I am absolutely twisting the knife more as I talk about him.
Digging it, man. I mean,
appreciate it, Sing.
I'm speechless. I'm without speech. I mean, the fact that I picked him up from waivers, I was smart enough to be like, oh, this is a good guy to pick up, but then not smart enough to hold on to him. And who I traded, it just... I can't.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. I'm sorry. Move on to the... I am very happy for you. He has been a wonderful piece. And the painful thing about Dynasty is that this is going to last for his entire 15-year probably Hall of Fame career at this point.
Yeah, this one's going to
knowing
sting.
my luck.
I'm going to have to buy a Jacob Mizorowski jersey just for this trade alone.
That'll be when I finish in last place. You all need to chip in and send me a Jacob Mizorowski jersey.
The only thing that can possibly help this, well, actually, it might make it worse. If he somehow, God forbid, I don't know what'll happen in the future, somehow gets ended up traded to the Red Sox. I don't know if that's either going to be worse for you or better. Because with every start, you're going to be like, oh, it's amazing. It's like,
could have had.
God, he could have been on my team.
Oh my God. Well, I definitely care about the Sox more than my team. So I think that would be a net fair. Positive, that's but fair. It would still be that little twist to the knife every time. So right now I'm just riding high on a 10-game win streak, and we'll be happy there.
I had to watch Mizorowski absolutely dice up my Dodgers. So I took that 35-point performance with a grain of salt.
On the chin.
I had to wear that one proud, but
Alrighty, well, we are going to slide down to our third matchup. It is Flaming Prius versus Big Peach. A pretty exciting matchup. Two teams who were in the playoff picture coming into this week. Flaming Prius coming in at 10-5, and Big Peach coming in at 8-7. Monday was a pretty uneventful day, just 22 and 27 points scored respectively. But the next day, Big Peach put up a big showing, 102 points on Tuesday. Schwarber's 11, Bassett's 26, and Lugo's 22 helped lead him there. On Wednesday, Prius had a 42-point showing thanks to Duran's 14, but Marcus Semien, who's really bounced back, helped Peach score those 86 points to hold the lead. Thursday as well, Peach held the lead, and I'm not going to go through this much more because he held it through the end of the week. This was a wire-to-wire performance. Of course, I'm going to shout out Kyle Stowers' 31.4 points on Sunday. That contributed to Big Peach's 132-point performance, but this one was just not terribly close. I mean, it was, not 100 points throughout the week, but Peach held a pretty solid lead pretty much the whole way through and ended up winning 504 to 428. That's a 76-point differential between the two. Peach is now 9-7, and I believe firmly locked into that playoff spot. And Prius, still at 10-6, is of course near the top of the league as one of our league leaders as it is. Neto put up 41 points for Flaming Prius. Really impressive performance there. And Ryan Pepio with 36 was his best pitcher. Kyle Stowers on the other side, although he scored 31.4 of them on the last day, he did put up 43.3 points and was Big Peach's best batter. And also, one of our best batters. Shows what one good performance can do from you. And then Robbie Ray with 43.5 was Peach's best pitcher for the week. Bit of a surprise upset here. What are you thinking, Ace?
Yeah, just goes to show how close this league truly is. I mean, we thought Flaming for a while was just untouchable, and now we see him back down to, within a game, well, tied with two others in terms of record-wise, but within a game of, about half the league here. And I also want to mention quickly, very salty about this, Kyle Stowers robbing Ellie De La Cruz of my best batter. Because Ellie had 42 points and Stowers had 43.3, and as you mentioned, 31 of those coming in the final day of the game or of the week.
Yeah, what was it? 5 for 5 that he went with a couple extra base hits, something like that. 3 home runs. There you go. 3 home runs. Yep.
Yeah, so that one sucked, and he was also formerly on my team, so that one hurt even more. But good on you, Stowers.
Yeah. I do love, Peach pointed out that Robbie Ray, I think, had like 31.2 or something, and Stowers had 31.4. So, he outscored one of the best starting pitchers in the league this year in one day. A batter did. That's what a 5 for 5 3-homer day will do for you, Yeah.
So. Shout out Kyle Stowers, man. What a day for him.
Good to see. Yeah, and Marcus Semien, who we'll talk about a little bit later, he was moved over to Big Peach in a trade a couple weeks ago. Really nice bounce back from him. It looked grim at the beginning of this year, man. Another podcaster I listened to has this is in terms of hockey players. He mentioned that sometimes the game just leaves a guy, and you see that sometimes in baseball too, where it just is done. And he's getting older, and it sure as shit looked like that to begin this year. And, I mean, this is a guy who was one of the best second basemen for the past half decade or so. And it looks like he's kind of figuring out it again. And, not that Texas is fully bouncing back as a team, but
Texas is they're in a rough way.
Yeah. Right now. Maybe investigate 2023. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a little out there. Sorry for all the text messages dinging. I'm trying to mute them right now.
No, you're good. It's looking more and more sus.
Yeah.
By the game.
I'm joking. I'm kind of joking, but I'm joking. But good to see Semien, and big win for Big Peach, and solidly locking him into one of those playoff spots here. So good to see. Well, our next matchup was the Surging in 10 versus Hideki.
Dude.
We can talk over this a little bit because in the 2 weeks since we last talked, in 10 traded his 3 best pitchers, I think, or 3 of his best pitchers, I guess we should say, for draft picks. Only one pitcher came back in return. Only one player came back in return. And then all of a sudden he's gone on a surge and won 3 straight.
Yeah, it's working. He traded away all his players for draft picks, and it's fucking working.
And it's work. And this is what I was thinking over last night. I'm like, okay, it'd be one thing if he traded them for young guys and then the young guys started popping off. That's one thing. It was all for draft picks.
No, it was quite literally guys that are still in high school. They just graduated. And in 10, this is the equivalent of, in the NFL, trading your entire veteran staff for all rookies, and then you go on a 6-game winning streak.
And then he starts winning. It's insane.
It makes no sense whatsoever, but here we are. In 10 was quite literally in last place for, I think, even, what are we, 14 weeks in? 15
this
weeks
16,
in?
Yeah.
Oh, this is 16 weeks in. I think he spent more time in last place than he hasn't, and yet he is ahead of the likes of, you, Oki. Yep. I mean, what? This is insane.
It has been an absolutely insane run that he's been on. And not to jump too far ahead, but continued through this week. He was going up against Hideki, one of our league leaders, and I'm not going to bother with going day by day. He went wire to wire. He had a 71-point day on Monday, 123 on Wednesday, 123 again on Sunday. We saw performances like Keller putting up 25 and Woods Richardson. That was on Tuesday. That Wednesday I mentioned, Austin Riley and Perdomo both put up 13, with Gore putting up 30. On Sunday, Imanaga put up 35, Keller another 25. An absolutely unbelievable performance from in 10. I mean, he is We talked about this. One of the worst teams in the league for the first 10 weeks, and he's now 2 games below 500.
Yeah.
And a couple spaces out of a playoff spot.
Out of a playoff spot, yep.
This is intense.
Unprecedented. I'm telling you, this league is insane. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. It seems like the only teams that can't rise out of losing are Serial and I. We're the only ones who haven't yet managed to do that. Unless we play each other, then one of us can win. But we've got to wait another 12 weeks before we do that. So, I'll see you again in 12 weeks. That's when... Oh, my God. No. That was 9. For a second, I was like, oh, my God, was that my last win against Serial? No, it wasn't.
No.
That would have been pretty funny, but... No. But, yeah, I mean, some solid performances from Hideki, too. You know, we saw... Trout had 16 on Wednesday, had another 12 on Saturday. Framber with 33. Unfortunately, minus 17 from Mike Burrows there. Machado with 12 on Thursday. Witt had a couple of 12-point performances, but it just wasn't enough. He never led against in 10 all week, and actually, unfortunately, finished off with a minus 4 on Sunday. Definitely disappointing for Hideki. This was by far our biggest separator. Your point differential between the two, 563 to 341. That's 222 points separating them. It wasn't even close. In 10 was by far our highest scorer this week. And Hideki was, I believe, the lowest scorer, lowest scorer for the week. So highest and lowest, as we've talked about. If you're going to get that lowest scoring week out of the way, do it against the highest scorer. But yeah, really fascinating week. We've got 10 sitting at 7 and 9 now, and Hideki, of course, still near the top of the table at 10 and 6.
Now, you said he had I think you said in 10 was by far the biggest scorer of the week. I don't think he was by far the biggest scorer. Maybe not by far. But he was definitely the highest scorer this week, like you mentioned. If you're ever gonna lose when you score the lowest, have it be against the guy that would have beat everybody.
Yep. That would have been everybody. You're right. We have some high scores in that last matchup. I jumped ahead a little bit. We'll get there.
And that last matchup in particular is...
Oh, my God. That was the one I was most excited for this week. We'll get to it.
Yes. Before that.
Part of the formula behind Inten's little run here is a little guy in Boston named Cedar Rafaela, who has turned from a glove-first guy with a lot of swing and miss in his game to Mookie Betts. He has looked like a legitimate MVP candidate in the month of July, coincidentally, as Inten has made this surge. No, he's not Mookie Betts, obviously, but he has looked fantastic.
His Red Sox fans are hoping.
Yeah. Every young guy that comes up, we're like, it's the new Mookie. It's
all right. Mookie's playing like ass right now, so you really wouldn't want him.
Oh, we really do.
Yeah.
Cedar Rafaela was one of our best batters for the week. Of course, with his 43 points matching his old uniform number there. And then Shota Imanaga with 52 was not one of our potent pitchers, but damn, is that a high score for a pitcher. And over on the other side, for Hideki, the hometown Mike Trout with 39 points, his best batter, and Framber Valdez with 33 points was his best pitcher. We've talked about how you can kind of see the story in the best batters and pitchers. The pitcher with one start and 33 points was your top pitcher. That is part of the formula there for Hideki's low-scoring week. And unfortunately, Logan Gilbert would have had some more points there, 23 on that last day, and I think he scored some more earlier in the week, but Hideki unfortunately ran out of starts, which helped contribute to that last day there. So very interested to see both of these teams next week. Hideki is now grouped in a larger group of that 10 and 6. He is tied for second place or tied for fourth place, depending on how you think about it.
That's crazy.
And Inten can't lose. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's just just fumbling over my words there. At this point, it's just a matter of how long can Inten ride this winning streak. If he can ride this winning streak into a playoff spot, it's anybody's game at that point.
Yeah.
It's this is the hard part about starting so far behind 500 is that now you're playing, you're on this awesome win streak, and yet you're still 2 games below 500.
You're still down. And you can see this, we've talked a little bit about like total points as sort of Pythagorean thing on indicating if someone's for real. And Intense still is, what would this be? 10th place in points. So he's still down there, but this is also getting to the point where...
But he's winning.
Exactly. He's winning, and so much of that came from those early points, and he's made a lot of trades, so,
I also would like to argue, too, that was severely hindered by the fact that in his first week, he scored, I don't think he quite
I think it was 120 points.
Yeah, so I don't think he understood how the UI was set up. Honestly, none of us did.
Yeah.
And the rosters were a little funky to start the year, but... He's found his groove. He's course corrected. He's on the right path now, and now we'll see what he can do next week.
Yeah, he is certainly one of the teams we're keeping an eye on because he is surging right now, and like we said, 2 ranking positions out of a playoff spot right now, and. Yeah, a couple weeks, he could be right in that mix. So
maybe it's the pod curse for him because we were off the last 3, and that's him going on his surge. if he loses and gets blown out this next week, it's gonna be rough.
It's over for us. I know. Well, and we'll talk about JMC Whitbit. He predicted exactly what was going to happen. So we'll give you your glaze. Don't worry. Mike versus Okie Sooner is our 5th matchup. Mike came into the week at 10-5 in that top group, and Okie Sooner at 7-8, just 1 below 500, trying to get back there and sneak into the playoff picture. Freddie Peralta, we mentioned his 32 points earlier. He scored those on Monday, along with 30 points from Christopher Sanchez for Mike. 28 for Jose Barrios was not enough to help Okie Sooner take the lead as Mike led 83-40. Mike held the lead on Tuesday with a 99-point performance. Will Warren's 24 and Altuve's 12 were helpful there. On Wednesday, we had something really fun. I love when this happens. They ended the day tied. I think that's really exciting. That's awesome. Okie Sooner scored 116 points to make that comeback and, tie things up with him. Jazz and Harper both had 18 on that day, and Adrian Hauser
is scorching right
yes,
now.
He is white hot.
Jesus Christ.
I was going to say that trade is looking good for Al Martinet, but it looks like he was traded again. So, and then Adrian Hauser puked his way to 26 points there as well for Sooner. But unfortunately, that tie would not be enough for Okie as Mike took the lead back on Thursday, held it through the end of the week, 48 on Thursday, 69 on Friday, nice performance there, and then 111 on Saturday and 39 to close it out on Sunday. Julio put up some big points there, 18 on Saturday, 17 on Sunday. Matt Boyd with 41 on Saturday. Boy, is he hot.
Yeah.
And, of course, we can't forget Cody Bellinger's 27 points in his 3-homer day on Friday. Trevor Rogers with an impressive 30 points on Saturday for Okie Sooner. But Mike did end up winning this relatively close matchup, actually. Although Mike did, other than that one tie, kind of go wire to wire here, it was only 44 points separating them, 489 to 445. Definitely a close day, or a close matchup, pardon me. That does put Mike now at 11-5 in sole possession of first place, and Okie Sooner at 7-9.
Yeah, this was a definitely a close week for Mike. Obviously he comes away with the win here. Bellinger, man, one of his best bats here best bats of the week at 43 points. Man, I'm just realizing more and more.
Best bats of the week.
Yeah, best bat. Yeah, Bellinger. My bad.
No, it's all good.
Totally just stole that. What I was going to say is it's just unbelievable how screwed Ellie got because Belly had 43. Stowers had 43. Rafaela had 43. Like, God damn it, man. Was 43 the cutoff this week?
One
for
more
best
double,
bats?
Ellie? Like, come on, man.
Could you not strike out one, more? Fuck, man. All right.
There
well,
it
yeah.
is,
Great matchup for Mike, as we mentioned, to take sole possession of first place this week.
Absolutely. And J-Rod is a notorious slow starter. Looks like he's heating up. Like I said, 18 on Saturday, 17 on Sunday, as if Mike wasn't dangerous enough. We got that guy playing at an MVP level. Holy
screwed.
cow.
And he also just got somebody who, although didn't perform for him as well this week, we'll get to it in the transactions.
Yes.
That was the big piece I moved. Mike is scary. Mike is scary moving forward. He was scary before. Mike is terrifying now.
Mike's got a real team. Like JMC alluded to, Zach Wheeler scored just 13 points. Kind of surprisingly low performance for him, but he has obviously showed that he is much better than that and is now on Mike's pitching staff there. Matt Boyd was Mike's best pitcher with those 41 points. Harper was Okie Sooners' best batter with 34, again a nod to his old number in Washington. And then Trevor Rogers with 30 was his best pitcher. Nice to see him there, but that's not what you want out of your best pitcher to be, the Orioles minor league guy that they got from the Marlins. And, that was that Kyle Stowers that they traded him for? Is that right?
Say that one more time. I'm so sorry.
Trevor Rogers. I want to.
Oh, the Orioles.
Yeah.
Yes. That was.
It was Stowers. I was saying, yeah.
Yes. So I recently just saw a post about Kyle Stowers and Ryan O'Hearn about how the Orioles shipped both of them off, and now they're both in the All-Star game.
Oh yeah. Well, Ryan O'Hearn's still with the Orioles.
No, or I'm sorry. No. Wait. Am I tripping? Who am I thinking about?
O'Hearn is. Who else would it be?
Is somebody on the Blue Jays? I thought. Is O'Hearn really not? Wait, I'm totally blanking.
Yeah, O'Hearn's still on the Orioles. I can picture the guy you're talking about on the Blue Jays. I know who you're talking about.
I'm like,
Bose is like screaming it into his phone right now.
He was a former Oriole, right?
Let's see.
Am I?
I can totally be. This is not
Santander.
Oh, is he in the All-Star game?
No, maybe not. No? I don't know. I'm. Is it Ryan O'Day? Oh man, I don't know who I'm thinking about. It's somebody that.
Bose, text us in the group. We know that you know. Yeah, let us know who it is.
Yeah, I promised the Orioles shipped out two guys, Kyle Stowers and somebody else, and they're both in the All-Star game now with their different teams respectively. Yeah. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Sorry, Bose, not trying to dig this in deeper. I just totally blanked.
It's like, shut up, guys. I know.
Let's get to some happy news for Bose.
Let's get to some happy news for Bose.
On to the next matchup.
Yeah, this was definitely the most exciting matchup coming into the week.
This is crazy.
JMC versus Bose, both 9-6. JMC will give you a little love right now, man. Absolutely surging. Entered the week in 4th place. He has really come up from those days in the bottom 3 there. This was obviously a very exciting matchup just because these are two great teams, but also because they were tied in record. And so we're going to see a little bit of a separation here. Didn't start out well for JMC, just 10 points on that first day with Bose scoring 60. Corey Seager and Salvador Perez both scored 12 and Naylor with 14. On Tuesday, JMC scored 116 thanks to Jackson Holliday's 11, Langford 16, Yuri Perez's 27. But that was not quite enough to take the lead because Bose scored 124. Corey Seager again with 12. Sonny Gray with 20 and Jeffrey Springs with 23. Big day there.
Jeffrey Springs? What?
Jeffrey Springs is back.
Wow.
Member of the worst pitching staff I've ever seen. 2020 Red Sox. Bose held the lead through Wednesday and Thursday as well. David Peterson's 32 points there were very helpful. He held, like I said, through Thursday as well. On Friday, JMC's 154-point day did take the lead back. Langford's 12, Chase Burns' 26, and Rodon's 42 points helped him out there. But on Saturday, Bose took it back and did hold it through the end of the week, despite it being incredibly close. Jeffrey Springs' 28 points on Sunday ended up being pretty much the difference maker. Yeah, Yuri Perez, his 37 on Sunday just wasn't quite enough for JMC. Wyatt Langford's 38 was JMC's best batter for the week, and Yuri Perez's 64 was out of our potent pitchers. Great to see from the young Marlins pitcher. Corey Seager on the other side just can't stop hitting, 47 points. Yep. And one of our best batters for the week. And then Jeffrey Springs, who we mentioned before, with 51 points, was Bo's best pitcher for the week. Just 12 points separated this two. Airtight matchup. 551 to 539. This does have Bose moving to 10-6 in that block of three guys between second and fourth place, and JMC at 9-7, just one spot out of a playoff spot now.
Yeah, when Jeffrey Springs is giving you 51 points on the week, you know it's just going well.
Bose is working some devil magic.
I don't know what kind of preaching magic you were offering up, but that is absolutely insane.
But I want to give JMC his praise for absolutely correctly predicting that he had two of the best wins of the season in the 2 weeks we were off, and that he would lose a heartbreaker this week. He nailed it.
Yeah, that was brutal, man.
That being said, he is tied with you and Big Peach.
Yep.
So in terms of record, still tied for a playoff spot, still surging. You're seeing young guys like Chase Burns. Other than that one start against the Red Sox, he has been fantastic this year. Acuna coming back like we talked about, that's been pretty big. And then he's got this Judge guy who, has put up some pretty big performances for him. So he should be just fine.
Judge, he's all right, I think.
Yeah, and hits a homer or two.
Yeah,
tell me your thoughts about this matchup. This was an exciting one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I mean, this was just absolutely back and forth. I mean, these were two guys coming into this matchup 9-6, so this was, to go 4 games above 500 potentially, or only 2. So this was a huge matchup, obviously coming into the week. And I mean, it lived up to expectations. Had we done a show for this matchup going into it, obviously both teams at 9-6, this would have been easily the highlighted show of the week. No other two matchups besides you and Serial had similar records of teams facing each other. I should phrase it like this: no two teams that are in the playoff picture had two similar records that were facing each other this past week. So this absolutely would have been the highlighted matchup, and boy, did it live up to expectations. And I am terrified because I play one of these guys next week. I won't tell you who because I don't want to spoil it, but I am terrified.
Yeah, exciting for sure.
Sorry for the couple of jabs there.
No. I'm wearing it, man. I did my best. We're down here. We're living. We'll be back next year.
We're White Sox in it.
We're White Sox in it.
We're just moving towards next season.
Looking towards. We're not quite a year away from being a year away. I think we are a year away, which is good. So
yeah, you're a year away from thinking you're a year away.
Yeah, there you go. Let's slide on down. Yeah, tell us about the standings.
Oh man, I love talking about the standings just because our favorite rainbow here. It's a little bit unbalanced right now. It's a little bit top heavy, but I think we love to see that because of so much competition in this league. So Mike, as I mentioned, sole possession of first place at 11-5, just absolutely pouring it on. My favorite to win it all this year. Flaming Prius and Hideki and Bose rounding out the top 4 at 10-6 in that order. So Flaming, with the big win this week, puts him in second place. Hideki did take the loss, drop him to third, and Bose with the tight win. Like we mentioned, that was basically the battle with the way the rest of the matchups turned out. That was the battle for the 4th seed, and Bose took it. Now, in the middle group here, we got Big Peach, myself, and JMC. Big Peach, Ace, and JMC. We are all 9-7. Peach and myself rounding out that playoff picture in the top 6. JMC right below me at 9-7, tied record, but points, previous matchups, all taken into account. In 10, as we mentioned, the huge riser right below JMC at 7-9 with Oki, both of them 7-9 for the 8 and 9 spots, and then the basement dwellers rounding out Al Martinet and yourself Zang at 5-11, and Serial Chillers rocking that basement steady at 4-12.
Alrighty, let's touch on our bench blenders for the week. We had a few, although I don't think any were matchup altering this time around. We'll start off with Jack Flaherty, who scored 24 points, on Tuesday on my bench. Full transparency, I was unpacking boxes, and the Detroit game started early, and I looked at my phone and said, oh, shit. Game started. So, that was there. Lawrence Butler put up 18 points on Tuesday on Big Peach's bench. Gunnar Henderson put up 15 points on Thursday for Okie Sooner on the bench, of course. Jordan Jordan Westberg could have extended that lead a little bit for Bose with 12 points on Thursday. Landon Roop with 23 on Saturday for Al Martinet. And then Shohei, who I think this is the first time he's ever appeared on Bench Blenders. Maybe just because it's the first time he's been benched all season because he scores 12 points every day. But he did score 12 points on Saturday on Bose's bench. Of course, Bose did end up winning that matchup, but if not, that would have been a pretty painful one, I have to say.
Yeah, that would have been brutal to lose.
That would have been tough.
After benching your number one overall pick. That would have been a rough way to lose that game.
But it all worked out.
It all worked out.
It all worked out.
Thank God for Jeffrey Springs.
Thank God for Jeffrey Springs. You ever just say a sentence that has never been said before? You know?
Nope.
Thank God for Jeffrey Springs.
Thank God for Jeffrey Springs. Said no fan ever.
Nobody ever. Wasted waivers we'll touch on quickly. We got a couple of nice batters here to fill out your roster if you need to fill in for any of our surging playoff teams. Just 0.1 separating the two of them. Our Cleveland second base / center fielder Angel Martinez scored 37.9 points there. And then Romy, my homie Gonzalez, who plays first base, second base, and shortstop, 37.8 over for the Red Sox. He is, to quote him, tremendously locked in. If you see the Red Sox facing a left-handed pitcher, start him because he's going to go bananas. He's playing out of his mind right now. Those are a couple guys who could fill in for some spots. What about the arms, Ace? Any pitchers we can look to pick up?
Yeah, a couple of guys who actually put up the same exact score this week in Miles Mikolas and Keider Montero. Miles Mikolas is a kind of like a mainstay on the wasted waivers. He's just that guy that he's just the wart that won't go away, that itch in your side that you just can't scratch. He's just always there, and right when you think you're ready to trust him, he lets you down. So, no surprises to see him here on wasted waivers. This is typically how he'll go. He will, like I mentioned in one of my favorite sayings, will be passed around more than a blunt in a frat house. So I'm sure we'll see him on some other teams later on down this year for a couple of waiver starts. But yeah, there he is once again showing that he exists in the fantasy world. And Keider Montero, who's a little bit more of a intriguing option to say the least. Mm-hmm. He's a Detroit right-hander. He has a 4-1 record on the year, which I know records aren't indicative of how good pitchers are. However, for fantasy purposes, we love wins, and if you're collecting those wins, wins are good. Wins get you points, and points are good. So if you're in need of somebody who he's kind of a hybrid starter / bullpen guy, but for the most part, he has been starting as of late. So he has a couple of good performances in there, and he is on a good Detroit Tigers team. So that offense is going to pick him up. For the most part, like I mentioned, those wins, free points there, you can always use those.
Absolutely. Yeah. The Miles Mikolas line is kind of like if a pitcher should be rostered or not. If they have more points than Miles Mikolas, they should be rostered. If they have less, they shouldn't.
That is quite literally, and there is so many moments where I'm like, let's see what the waivers are looking like for pitchers, and I'll see Mikolas on the top. I'm like, all right, there's nobody available.
Yep. No.
That's all I needed to see.
That's it.
Oh, man.
He is the best worst.
He is the best of the worst.
The Lizard Man. Well, we're going to slide down to the transaction tracker now, and I kind of broke this up by weeks. We'll just quickly cover the Week 14 trades and the Week 15 trades, and then we'll dive in a little bit on these Week 16 trades, which are the ones that just passed, in part because they are more recent, and in part because two of them are two of the biggest trades of the year. So we'll start with those Week 14 trades. All of these involved in 10. This was that sell-off that we talked about. He traded Sonny Gray to Bose for Bo's second and third round picks in his upcoming draft. He traded Zach Littell to Mike for actually Ace Garcia's second round pick. Mike had acquired Aces in another trade. And then he traded Jose Barrios over to Oki Soon. Oh, Jose Barrios and Hideki's second round pick to Okie Sooner for Matthew Liberatore and Okie's third-round pick. So 10 did get a young starting pitcher in Liberatore back there. I know I've referenced Liberatore a lot as I think he was on our first week of Wasted Waivers.
Yep.
That first week that, Ace came onto the pod in week 2 and said, we should do a segment where we talk about like the players who scored the most that weren't on a roster, and Liberatore was on the first one. Okie grabbed him, and he's been phenomenal for him and is now over on Intense Team. Unfortunately, he had minus 13 in his first start, but
what are you going to do about it?
Just getting used to his new surroundings. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
He's got the Inten devil magic going. So sliding down to week 15, we had a pretty minor trade just to start things off. JMC trading relief pitcher Matt Brash over to Mike for a third-round pick. Just Mike securing up his relief core there a little bit. And then Al Martinet, who traded Bryson Stott over to Big Peach for a third. If I'm remembering correctly, obviously it was a little over a week ago, but I think this was Al Martinet kind of just looking to clear space. And so got a third back, take a flyer.
Better than nothing.
17-year-old shortstop.
Yep.
And see what happens. We will now move into our Week 16 trades. So these did all happen this week. Speaking of Bryson Stott, he was on the move again. Big Peach traded Bryson Stott, starting pitcher Logan Henderson, who's ranked number 90 on MLB's list, number 6 in Milwaukee's system, and a first-round pick to Serial Chillers for Austin Hayes, Ryan Helsley, Aroldis Chapman, and Chris Bassett. So big haul coming back to Peach as he's clearly making a push for the playoffs. Two of the best relief pitchers in the league this year. I think Chapman has actually been the best. He's been unbelievable, and Helsley obviously is fantastic. Austin Hayes, good platoon outfield bat, and Chris Bassett is just a reliable starting pitcher. He doesn't typically put up those big 40-point performances, but he's going to be between 20 and 30 pretty much every week. So solid push there for Peach. And then Serial Chillers getting back a first is obviously big. That's going to be a top 12 pick. Yep. No matter what. And Logan Henderson, clearly you want to trust Milwaukee starting pitcher prospects, and Bryson Stott, as we've talked about, is not, I think, what we saw in 2022 or 2023 when he had that really big season, but is a solid, reliable infielder, and clearly is going to play for Philly. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I think it was just, obviously, Bryson Stott not wanting to stay long in Big Peach's house, clearly. So he gets shipped off basically before he even lands. But yeah, this was, I think, the Chapman obviously is a win now move. Obviously, this is a huge win now move for Big Peach. Taking on Helsley, I think, is just a fantastic addition. The young closer for the Cardinals.
Yep,
the Cardinals. Yep, that's right. Chapman obviously having a great season. We don't know how long he'll last, but whatever he's able to get out of him for this season is obviously great. Chris Bassett, like we mentioned, Austin Hayes. So yeah, I think this was just an all-around solid move for Big Peach, and I think this was a great move for Serial. You're obviously, 4-12 right now. You're really not going to do anything this season in particular. So it's time to just stock up on those draft picks, stock up on those young players, that young talent, see if they can flourish into something. And hey, a first-round pick, that is fantastic. You now as a Serial fan are completely rooting on the downfall for Big Peach.
Yeah,
hoping that pick can turn into a top 3 pick, maybe. Barring or hoping for a huge fall off from the Big Peach man. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think a solid trade for where both teams are at all around. I think both teams come away with a dub here.
Yeah, I want to give mad props to Serial Chillers. Just really, really good asset management by him here. Chapman, who is having his best season in over a decade. Let's be honest, the 37-year-old is probably not going to last, but he's great this year. It's a good move by Big Peach to get that guy.
100%.
Not helpful for Serial, so traded him away. Bassett, who's 34, probably not going to be helpful when Serial's trying to contend. Trades him away. Helsley, who is a hard-throwing relief pitcher. Again, phenomenal this year, but we know those guys don't always last. Just great asset management by Serial Chillers here. And great moves by Big Peach. Those are two great relief pitchers which we know can swing a matchup. And we've talked about reliability in starting pitching, man, how valuable Bassett will be there. So great moves by all. Peach stayed active here, trading Tommy Edmond over to Bose in a 1-for-1 for Marcus Semien, who we mentioned. So he filled that second base hole that was left by trading away Bryson Stott, sending out center fielder and infielder, I think, Tommy Edmond over to Bose.
Yeah, a nice little 1-for-1 trade. The rare 1-for-1 trades, usually you like to see a little bit more get moved. However, kind of two similar players in the terms of both veterans kind of... Tommy had a hot start this year. He's kind of cooled off a bit. Simeon had a horrible start this year, and he's certainly heated up. So, a little bit of maybe just change of scenery for both these guys. Obviously, for Big Peach, you're riding that Simeon train. And for Bose, you're hoping Edmund can find it. You're really hoping that the entire Dodgers lineup can find it, because that's when Edmund is at his best, is when he is that, 6-7 hitter, and he's just supplying on-base potential for Shohei and for those top-of-the-lineup guys.
Yeah, and nice sort of... good for now, but also great for future move for Bose. I know he has a generally pretty veteran-laden lineup with how high he is on the roster. Tommy's still pretty... I think he's in his 20s still, so... Good move for him.
Yeah, he's like 28, 29, I think.
Yeah, something there. So, that's... And, he signed a 5-year deal with the Dodgers, so he's, he's going to be locked into a good lineup for the next half-decade. Yep. Great move for Bose. And honestly, for Peach, again, like we talked about, capitalize on Simeon's, heat right now and get a good bat in there, especially since he's tied in that group. That can be really big for him. We will now slide down to the two pretty massive trades. Both of them, I believe, went down on Thursday. Ace and I actually did a little chatting to talk about the final trade, so we'll get to that one. I think I think that might be the biggest move of the season so far. But this one, a couple of the Boston guys teamed up, and I did send away Lucas Giolito, Andres Munoz, who I'm not exaggerating. I think all 11 other teams at some point in the season have asked about him. So I did finally trade him. So I sent Giolito, Andres Munoz, a 2027 second-round pick, so not this year but next year. My third-round pick from this year and Hideki's third-round pick this year. Sent all of those over to Inten for Francisco Lindor, Zach Gallen, and Wilyer Abreu. I can talk a little bit for myself. I am always a proponent of take the side of the trade that has the best player in it. Francisco Lindor is unequivocally the best player in this trade, and so I kind of had to say yes to it. He is a top 3 shortstop in the league at worst, and although I'm not contending this year, I don't think he will be bad next year. Zach Gallen has been a little bit up and down, but has obviously shown it. And Wilyer, I believe in him certainly as a 4th or 5th outfielder, and especially against right-handed pitching. Man, can he mash. Over on Inten's side, though, for the the surging team we discussed, Giolito has been absolutely phenomenal. 30-plus points in all of his last, I think, 4 or 5 starts. Munoz, if Chapman isn't the best relief pitcher in the league this year, it's him. And he's stocked up on a few picks. Tell me your thoughts on this trade kind of from an outsider perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just I think it's like another, like we mentioned with the Peach cereal trade. I think it's a win for both sides. I think I want to say it was a wrong move for Inten to just acquire so many of these picks, but it's working. So I can't even argue that he should have, kept some of these guys like Lindor. Like you want to argue that, well, if he would have kept Lindor, Gallen, and Wilyer on top of all the other, if he would have kept those 3 guys and just went with the rest of the moves, he might be doing better. But all the moves he made are working in unison. So I really have to give him credit for that. Taking on Giolito, he's been, in the short time he's had him, he's been a godsend for him. Unbelievable. Same with Andres Munoz, and like I mentioned, you're getting a next year's second and a third of this year, and that's going to be 2/3 this year. Yeah. One of those thirds is potentially going to be a second or the top third available. Yep. So it's just great value all around, and I think I love the move for you. For like you already mentioned, Lindor. That's a great piece, the best player in this trade. Zach Gallen has obviously shown that he has ace dominant stuff in the past, and it's just a matter of can he find it again. And you already talked about Wilyer. I mean, yeah, he's great against right-handed pitching. He can absolutely mash. So I think it's just very great situational acquisitions for both you guys here.
Yeah, the one detractor I would very much understand somebody saying is I have dealt a lot of picks. As of right now, I only have my first round pick in this upcoming draft. I just have one pick. And next year, I only have my first and my third. So for a team near the bottom of the table, that is not a lot of picks. My reasoning behind it is I really like my minor leagues. I think I have a strong minor league base,
system,
and I think, system. Thank you. I think I trust in those guys. And sure, I'm probably going to take, a top draft pick, or maybe one of the guys that comes over from one of the Eastern Asian leagues in this upcoming year. But I think that it is very fair to criticize a team that is currently in 11th place and only has one draft pick in this upcoming draft, and is trying to compete years later. So I think that is worth a criticism, but a chance I'm willing to take. Now let's move on to, again, in my opinion, the biggest trade of the year. The second best starting pitcher in the league for the year, only behind Tarek Skubal. Zach Wheeler was traded by Ace along with J.R. Ritchie, who is unranked in MLB but number 6 in Atlanta's system, and outfielder Chase DeLauder, who's number 34 for MLB and number 2 in Cleveland's system. Ace traded those 3 players over to Mike for Freddie Peralta, third baseman outfielder Cam Smith, and starting pitcher Hurston Waldrep, who is Atlanta's number 2 ranked prospect. As a person involved in the trade, talk to me about it. What's going on? That is a big deal. So what was your thinking? How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, so obviously Wheeler has already announced that pretty much after, not this season, but after next season, he's going to retire. And like you mentioned, he's a top 3 starting pitcher in this league this year. And he has provided me with a ton of wins, a lot of solid outings. I mean, he has been by far my most consistent player on the entire team. And I just think that I was not going to get the full value out of him that somebody like Mike will. Mike, obviously, we already mentioned, top of the league right now. He is in absolute full just send win now mode for this year. And I also just think that given where I am, I think these players, I'm kind of looking, I got a good starting pitcher back, obviously not of equal caliber, but I think Freddie Peralta is a great starting pitcher, and he proved it with a fantastic outing for me this past week. Cam Smith is a young, up-and-coming infielder / outfielder for the Astros. He's been kind of struggling. He struggled a lot to start this year, but he's been sort of finding it as of late. So kind of just banking another young guy there, and obviously the prospect in Hurston Waldrep. After sending to, we basically swapped Atlanta's prospects here, but, obviously have to lose out on Chase DeLauder. So I think all around, it was a good move obviously a great move for Mike for the win now situation. He is looking terrifying with that lineup. But I also think for the spot that I'm in, I'm kind of semi-competing this year while also really building for the future, and I'm really liking the position I'm in now, just with the amount of young talent I have on the team. And the fact that I'm still, at the moment, in a playoff spot feels pretty good to say that, I'm competing while also simultaneously rebuilding.
Yeah, great trade for both sides. I'm just going to start by saying that. I think it is really good for both. We've talked about, the goal is not to be a good team year after year. The goal is to win. And Mike's going all in on that. He's taken Zach Wheeler. He knows this is not a long-term play, but Zach Wheeler gives him a really good chance to win the league this year. From your perspective, Freddie Peralta, who is an incredible starting pitcher, Cam Smith, who came over in the Kyle Tucker trade, obviously high prospect pedigree there, slow start to the season, but has started picking it up. Those are both guys that are going to be very competitive next year and the year after, and so it is a bit of a now and a future play for you in getting both of those guys, and then of course Waldrep as well, sending over DeLauder to Mike, who gets a little bit of future play too. But great trade for both sides. Similar to Serial, in my opinion, great asset management by you, recognizing that Zach Wheeler, given his timeline of retirement, is probably more valuable as a trade piece than as a pitcher for you. And also great understanding by Mike, seeing that shit, it doesn't matter if he's going to be gone in a couple years, because in the years that he's here, I have a pretty damn good chance of winning the league.
Yep. Yeah, I have a top 3 performing fantasy player.
Period. Yeah. So
just period.
Really, really good trade on both sides, in my opinion. And yeah, I mean, not often you see a top 3 starting pitcher, top 3 fantasy player moved. But I think, good work on both sides. So those are the transactions for the past couple weeks. Ace, why don't you give us a little preview of what is coming up next week? Along with the matchups, you can also see here that we have the previous, who won their previous matchup, as we're, getting into our second time around with these. So what are we looking at next week?
Yeah, so we got this is probably going to be the most exciting matchup of the week. We got Bose taking on Mike here, tied for second place team taking on the first place team here. Bose did win this matchup the last time around, defeating Mike, so can he do it again? Can he go 2-0 or 2-0 against Mike, and knock him down with the rest of the league at 11-6? Or is Mike going to further cement himself further away from the pack at 12-5? And at that point, now you're really looking at Mike to be locked in for that 1 seed. So big matchup here for the league in general and for seeding wise. Moving on to this next one here, another great matchup with Hideki taking on Big Peach. Hideki obviously 10-6 after the loss, coming off the loss this week to the scorching hot N10. Big Peach with that win this past week against Flaming. So two complete opposite situations they're coming out of. One from a loss to underdog, and one coming against a win against a big team. So Hideki took this matchup last time against Big Peach. Big Peach looking to get on par with Hideki at 10-7 apiece. Hideki looking to keep pace with Mike and try to get up to 11-6. Our next matchup, Oki taking on Flaming Prius. Oki 7-9 versus Prius, who is 10-6, as we mentioned, coming off that loss this week. Prius did take this matchup the last time they played, so like we mentioned, Prius trying to get back on track with a win here, get back up with Mike. Oki still at 7-9, looking to stay alive in the playoff race. Really needs this win here. This is I don't want to say must win, but falling to 7-10, you're really starting to look, without a huge surge, it's going to be very tough to climb back out of it. We have yourself, Zang, taking on N10, the surging hot N10.
That should go great.
This should be a great matchup. This will be the matchup, as we just mentioned, a big trade between both these teams here. This will be a very quick test of who won the trade, in the short term at least. So we'll definitely see what happens there. Zang obviously took the win in this last matchup, but these are two very different teams from the last time we saw them, so we will see what happens here. This is personally my favorite matchup of the week, not biased at all, but it is myself taking on JMC. We are both 9-7, we are both 6-7 seed right now, so we are quite literally deadlock as much as you could be at this point of the year for that final playoff spot. The winner of this match will take sole possession of that 6th and final playoff spot. So this is going to be a huge matchup regardless of how you're looking at it. It is also the matchup of which one of us can get to double-digit wins first. I did take the matchup against JMC last time we played, and as you mentioned, JMC had a heartbreaker of a match last week, so he is going to be hungry this week. It is going to be a scary, scary matchup for me, but I'm very confident in my team, and yeah, this is going to be definitely putting my little star for a matchup of the week. And to round us off, we got a couple of, this is the toilet bowl of the week. We got Al Martinet at 5-11 facing off against Serial Chillers at 4-12. For what it's worth, Al Martinet last time they were up did take this matchup against Serial. So Serial's looking to even up the head-to-head matchup at 1-1 apiece, and looking to even them both up at 5-12 apiece.
Yeah. Some really things I'm keeping a close eye on, the Bose and Mike matchup and the Ace and JMC matchup. If Mike and JMC win, those matchups are tied in head-to-head, which we all remember is the first tiebreaker, and then it comes down to point differential. If Bose and Ace win, they have the season series over those other two. And when we're talking, about teams that are grouped together in 5, 6, and 7, all having the same record, having the season series is massive. So we're getting to the point where there are just some matchups that matter more. It is more important that JMC gets this win against you this week than whoever he's playing next week. It's more important for Mike that he gets this win against Bose, a top 4 team, than it is that he gets a win against me in a couple weeks or whatever. So those are two I am keeping a really close eye on. As I mentioned, next Sunday, we won't have a full much of anything to recap. We'll have just one series worth. So I am hoping these next few days we'll get some trades going. I know I'm already I'm itching to do some fantasy stuff. So maybe we'll get some trades during this time. We'll obviously recap any trades. As I said, we'll go over some of the top picks. I'll be doing a little research into some guys that might be coming over to the league. So maybe get a little perspective into what some of those picks we've talked about could turn into. And then we will dive a little bit deeper into those head-to-head matchups. And even preview when some potential tiebreakers might come into play and stuff like that. So next week's episode will be, a little unconventional compared to some of the rest, but it still should be a good time. And the week after that, we'll have a lot of fun recapping those 10 days worth of matchups. Do you think we see anyone break 1,000 points?
If anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Mike.
It's Mike, yeah.
It's going to be Mike, which thank God I'm not playing him this week. Sorry, Bose. But yeah, if anybody's going to break... What's the highest somebody scored? Has somebody hit 700 yet?
I don't think we've seen a 700. We've definitely seen a couple 600s.
Couple 600s? Yeah, I think Mike easily breaks that 700.
Yeah.
Maybe even the 800.
I think Mike breaks 800. I don't think he quite gets to 1,000. But
yeah, he would need all his starting pitchers to have he would need 4 starting pitchers to play on day 1 of these matchups.
Yeah.
And have them go 3 times in the course of the 10 days. So yeah, it's gonna be tough, but it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna
high
be
scoring matchups.
High scoring, yeah. It's gonna be
excited.
a lot of points. Oh man,
should be great. Well, it was wonderful, Ace, talking to you again, and of course talking to all you guys. Thank you all again for your grace. I know, obviously, like I said, we appreciate how much you guys love it and how sad you are when we don't have a podcast. These were obviously, I don't know if I've said this on the pod yet, but, the common saying is that the 3 most stressful things in life are moving, getting married, and having a kid. And although the third one hasn't happened, we did do the first 2 in the span of 2 weeks. So it was a busy couple weeks for me. But genuinely, I really missed talking to you guys, and I'm excited to be back. Looking forward to coming back next week.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always a fun time talking baseball, talking fantasy, and we're in the thick of it right now. We're gonna have the All-Star break, and man, are we gonna be taking off?
Should be good. Alrighty. Well, we will see you very soon.
Take care, everybody.
Do you know what that makes you, Larry?
Lollygagger.
Lollygagger.